an unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. That's not a bad thing. That's a source of our strength.
I'll tell you, the numbers are absolutely skyrocketing down here at our southern border. CBP sources telling me the last 3 days in a row, Border Patrol has apprehended more than 7,000 illegal immigrants per day.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
And keep in mind, these buses are not from Texas. They're not Greg Abbott's buses. These are the Biden administration's buses. This is Border Patrol mass releasing people. You can see handfuls of them are standing around not knowing where they are, what to do, where to go next.
A few moments later.
This was Canal Street on Tuesday afternoon, when federal ICE agents descended on the block known for street vendors, arresting 9 of them and 4 protesters. Now this was Canal Street on Wednesday, pretty much a ghost town. Many of the usual vendors had disappeared. Some of them arrested and some of them just too scared to come back. But some spoke to us about what they saw and how they felt.
And this is America, the country that everybody runs to, the country people go to. When they feel safe in America.
And he asked me ID again. I said, am I committing any crime? And he took off. Why did you call with the fake? Will you hire an employee to call with the fake, go out there to harass people? I want to see what you look like.
The Department of Homeland Security said they made these arrests because some of these people were involved in criminal activity. One of those detained was Abubakar Diakite, and those who knew him said he never did anything wrong.
I know him. I know him for the last 25 years. I see him every day. He's a hard-working man. He go to work and go home. He has a vendor's license. He's not illegal or selling fake like they said on the news in the first time. No. This man sells several cases. He's been doing it for the last 16 years that I know him.
The vendors still on the street Wednesday said the whole thing had left them totally shaken.
What if Abu was me? What would happen to my kids?
Like and follow our coverage for updates.
Shalom. Call Hello Yamla Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Hakodash. Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Hakodash Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Hakodash. Shalom and double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elder bishops and the elders in the Akim and the Akwath of the hopeful elect. Shalom. Salakia. So, as we seen right there, the fork-tongued devil, the double-minded devil, that the Bible speaks of, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, he creates problems and then does it for his own agenda and then acts like he's providing a solution. He created this issue of immigration, right? And then now he's bringing in now the quote-unquote right-wing Representative Trump, is now doing the reverse of everything that the left-wing puppet that was in there before him, Biden, had done, right? So we'll go to, and it's pure mass chaos and confusion, and that's the title of this lesson right here is E is the vessel of chaos on earth. He's the wicked, And the society is supposed to be about stability and continuity and chronological order and that which you can predictably know what's going to occur in a society, right? But here with the psychotic, erratic cave beast, Edomites, the so-called white race, everything on earth is in mass confusion and chaos. This is why it's Babylon the Great, the city of great confusion. So here in James chapter 1 and verse 8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So we see one president it comes in and says, he lets in all the immigrants, and then the other president with a different mind is trying to remove all of the immigrants, right? And so now it creates mass hysteria and riots, and it's all of the will of the Heavenly Father, because we know these are the last days prophecies of the so-called white man being taken down. This is the beginning phases, right? The uproars of the people, riotous, uproars of the people and seditions among men, so this is a part of it. But, it just shows you that this man is not meant to be in any role of leadership. He's only to be ruled over because he has not the spirit of the Heavenly Father, which is supposed to be guiding mankind through the spirit of Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, right? Just pure mass chaos. So we go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14 and verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. So, what's best for so-called whites is for this place to not have as many immigrants in it, right? So, Biden allowing that flood, that massive, wave and flood of immigrants, to come in, is him being evil to his own people. It threatens their little, white supremacy, right? And their supremacy here within, and makes their numbers even less, as the proportion to immigrants to them, right? And so it lessens their numbers, the ratio of immigrants to so-called whites. But we know that this is not their land, but smart money would be for you to not increase the immigrants upon your, and have them come amongst your own, right? So he's being evil to his own people, even though this is not his land. He doesn't deserve this land. He's going to have this land taken away from him. Thus saith the Lord, right? Because he stole his land. But, just seeing it from that lens, that's being evil to himself. So if he's evil to his own people, then to whom shall he be good? Our people foolishly trust in oppression and trust in the shadow of Egypt, right? And that's going to be their shame. So it says he shall not take pleasure in his goods, because he's his chief goods is the land he's stolen and the slaves that he has, the so-called blacks, right? And so he's because it's madness to have slaves now, his slaves amongst his own, and the average citizen is having to deal with walking on eggshells a lot, trying to act like they're not racist, it's just pure madness, it's just like, just think of the small hats living amongst the Nazis, right, the Germans, for all of these years, after they were released, so-called from the during that Holocaust. It would be mass, it would be pure madness, and straight stress and strain amongst both sects of people, right? And so that's the same thing going on here, but just thinking about it from that lens, this is a very remedial, retarded society, it's pure madness. So going to the book of Sirach, chapter 41 and verse 5. The children of sinners are abominable children. And that's every so-called white person you see, they're abominable. Their children, they're descendants of their ancestors that stole this land and established this place for them to live and walk around today in their arrogance and pride and privilege and entitlement, right? So they're abominable children. They're abominable, thus saith the Lord, because their ancestors, their dads, forefathers, great-grandfathers, ancestors are all sinners, thieves and murderers, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. Verse 6, the inheritance of sinners' children shall perish. And that's what's happening right now. That's ultimately what we're seeing. The inheritance of the sinner's children, the children that has inherited these sinners' deeds, is perishing before their very eyes. America, right? They're circling the drain right now. And their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. And their posterity goes into the bloodline. Their seed, their children and their children's children and children's children, all the way down and continue, for forever. So, verse 7, the children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. See, they're being reproached for the sake of their forefathers, right? Their ancestors, quote unquote, their founding fathers. The Constitution and all of this madness, right? Man-made laws and decrees, right? Which is unrighteous, that they made on top of stolen land and blood-soaked stolen land, and the slaves, the back of the slaves, the true Jews of the Bible, so-called blacks. So Amos chapter 9 and verse 11. Right there, they even know right there that it's society and the kingdom of heaven is all a result of the restoration of Israel, in the name of Yahushua. So verse 11, in that day, what day is that? The end days right now we're in. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. And what's the house of David? The 130 elect, the body of Yahushua. And close up the breaches thereof, because our gates languished for a very long time. Meaning what? The leaders. And the leaders is Yahushua, and then his mighty men, the 144,000 leaders. That's the breaches closing everything up. The true leaders of Israel, not your T.D. Jakes and Teddy Loans that's dead now from, I guess he contracted HIV or something and he died. The Lord judged him for, the pedophilia, I believe, what he was doing and everything. And those wicked modern day Pharisees, so-called pastors, right? And close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, because we've been destroyed and it's been desolate for a while. And I will build it as in the days of old. So what happens in the days of old, when the house of David was strong, when King David was ruling, what happened? He had the Edomites in subjection. And verse 12, and it's going to follow up in verse 12 there, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. And what's the remnant? That's the leaders of, so it's like the remnant of Israel is the 130 elect. The remnant of Edom are the Illuminati, the rulers of the earth and wickedness under Satan. They're the first fruits of captivity in the kingdom of heaven, so that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen. So see right there, all the heathen, the United Nations that's linked up with Edom. So that shows you that the so-called Edomite, the so-called white race, they're the head of all the heathen and wickedness. So the Esau, he's the head. He's going to get rounded up first. The remnant, the leaders of Edom, and then all the heathen are going to get rounded up too, because they're hand in hand with them, oppressing the Israelites, which are called by my name, said the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that doeth this. So the Most High, through the power of His name, and for the, for His name's sake, He's going to fulfill what He says about restoring Israel and putting the heathen, headed by Esau, Edom, put them in captivity. Verse 13, behold, the days come, said the Lord Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. So the plowman is the quote unquote field niggas, right? We're in the field. We're the ones plowing, and and the so-called white man is reaping all of our sowing, because we're the laborers right now, and he's the overseer as we build everything for him, and he just takes everything and without any kind of payment unto us, building this country off of free slave labor. And the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed. You see, so that's us going to overcome at our last end, overcoming the oppression of Esau, Edom, and the heathen. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. So it's going to the governments of the nation of the earth, the heathen nations of the earth, the rulership, the governments. They're going to repay everything that they've stolen from us, and they're going to melt. And that what causes things to melt? Heat, the thermonuclear fire, and the chariot laser beam fire as well. Verse 14. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel. That means he's going to end our slavery here in America, Babylon the Great. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And we're going to get that salvation going to happen, and we're going to go back to the Holy Land, the homeland, and the heathen are going to build it up. And we're going to live there, and no man's going to make us afraid ever again for eternity. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. So drinking wine is not wicked, but in moderation and responsibly, right? Therefore they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. So we're going to have our vineyard, for our delight, make the heart merry, right? And then also eat our food, and going to enjoy that. Verse 15. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Shai thy power. So it lets you know that the small hats over there, they're people trying to pluck them up out the land, right? The Palestinians, they fighting with the Arabs, right? And Iran. So if they didn't have America to back them up, they would be plucked up out of there. And we know that the Most High is the one that fight for us, not no other heathen nation. That's not biblical. That's pure wickedness and blasphemy and profanity of the order and the prophecy that the Most High, the beautiful prophecy the Most High has, that yet has been fulfilled. It has not been fulfilled in 1948. So we will not be pulled up ever again. So that lets you know that this is our last captivity here in Babylon the Great. The last captivity that we'll ever experience, in the name of Yahweh, that we will be saved, redeemed, and forever, live in the Holy Land with our families, for eternity, in happiness and peace, in the house of mirth, and no longer in the house of mourning. So going back to James 1 and verse 9. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted. You see, we're of low degree right now, because slavery bows the spirit. We're of low degree, and we've been only destroyed here forever. Since we've gotten here off those boats that we were forced onto, and we will be exalted by the Heavenly Father in the name of Yahweh. So verse 10, but the rich, so-called white race, and all the heathen that make the merchants of the earth that have waxed rich off of the Most High's his gold and silver, spoken of, I believe, in the book of Joel. The gold and silver of the Heavenly Father that the Edomites, the white race, so-called white race, have stolen. But the rich but the rich, and that he is made low. See, Isaiah 47 and 1. Sit thou in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, America, because as the flower of the grass, he shall pass away. See, because the triumphing of the wicked is for a moment. Wickedness is only for it's temporary, it's temporal, it's not going to last. It's finite, it's finite, not infinite, right? Grass and flower come and go, and then America is a flower, and the field of grass is country, right? But then we know the grass and the flowers all wither away, right? And that's what's going to happen to America. So we're going to be restored. We're in the process of being restored, and when the wicked rule, the people mourn. But and that's why it's nothing but chaos in the earth, because he is the vessel of madness and chaos and confusion. But, you know, pretty soon, you know, we're going to see that salvation and the downfall of Esau Edom. Thus saith the Lord. With that being said, this video was edifying. The waters of Hakodash Basham Yahushua, another video. Until the next video, I say, Shalom.